You are watching Xirtus.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing is that I'm sure you guys have probably been experiencing the same, but when you go through all the things that's actually like being called out, that's actually it's too much. Like it's crazy. I can't even keep up with it all. It's like every day there's more waste that's being pointed at, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a waste, that's a waste,
That,
that's a waste. But when
that's
I look
another
at
thing.
what
The volume. No one's used to reporting this amount of volume, so now it's also getting dropped. Like normally, some kind of a motion like this would be milked for every single little tiny
right,
drop it could be politically, and it would
right,
almost be great. It would be the equivalent of if Andreas had like 50 YouTube videos stored up in his backlog, and he just drops them all at the exact same time on the same day. It's
right.
like, why would you do that? You're losing out on all this extra exposure and algorithm, and it's weird to see someone not milking it the same way that we've seen the rest of our lives.
No wonder the people that are just getting all their news from mainstream sources, like no wonder their relationship to the narrative of what's taking place, like they don't like they clearly, whether they get from the press secretary, they're just getting these like woke issues happening in these other countries having to do with specifically with USAID. And so, but it's not just that, it's all these different agencies of what's happening. So like at which point is the media going to be forced to like cover any of the actual bigger things that are taking place right now? I think it's interesting that the press secretary only went with those. Like, why is that? Why didn't she go into that USAID as a CIA front? Is it just easier to just be like, look, these are things that are wasteful, and rather than just focusing on the actual corruption that's being exposed? Like, she didn't even address the specific corruption that's being exposed in terms of the financial side of all this. Like, why is that? I
I
mean, maybe
mean,
that's enough
I think
corruption to
because
start
the
it up.
CIA, we took over the CIA now, right? Like, I don't know if you saw the CIA just confirmed the new Michael Ellis as the new CIA deputy director. So,
Right.
and so Michael Ellis is, let's see here, a Trump supporter. And then John Ratcliffe. I'm sorry, Ratcliffe is the Trump supporting director, right? He's
Mhm.
Trump team. He
Michael
was
Ellis
called,
was also the editor for Superman.
yeah, it's true, which makes sense in a weird way. Nice sync. But yes, you got Ellis, and then you've got Michael Ellis, this guy, yeah, he was a forever Trumper, they called him, right, early on, but he did work for Bush originally too. So you've got kind of some continuity with the Clinton Bush period anyway. There were people there in that time. Well, the CIA is totally cool now. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm just saying, bro. Like, it's like at least they can't be like, oh, like you gotta hate the CIA. You gotta rebrand it. You gotta rebrand it before
They're
you.
based now, bro.
Yeah, what do you want me to? They use Linux. What do you want?
It's not like it's old history of what happened with USID, AID, and the CIA. And it's actually, I think it's chapter 36 and 37 of RFK's book on bioweapons that came out a couple years ago is all about USAID. And that's the first time I ever really USAID ever caught my attention, was looking at that book, and what is laid out there. It's the notes that are on those chapters, like everything is so well cited that it feels like something that DOGE would have uncovered, like, but it's not debatable, like the role that USAID has played in destabilizing other countries and all kinds of stuff. Like, I couldn't begin to cover it all, like in a conversation, just because it's one of those things. Like, what am I going to do? Memorize all these points of corruption? Like, it goes on for days. It's insane.
Right.
So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out, man. Oh my God. Also, can you look up the lady that's they just put in charge of the JFK and Epstein files? Like, that big things are about to happen there.
I
That's
don't know
this
who that is. I haven't
major.
seen that. Is that this Paulina Luna?
Yeah, that's her.
Anna
Yeah.
Paulina Luna? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her story? What do you know about her
I
declassification task
This is
force?
just today before I got on the call, I was looking at what's happening there, and that's why I'm like, I was saying a few days ago that I have a really strong feeling the way things are headed is that we're actually going to get some exposure with Epstein specifically, and they just uncovered a bunch of new JFK files, which is weird to say because it's like, oh God, how long have those been
Anna Polina Luna is leading a task force to declassify 9/11 files, Jeffrey
Right.
Epstein files, JFK files, RFK files, Martin Luther King files, COVID-19, UFOs, the works. Let's hear what she has to say. Hold on. The audio.
Mm.
Wait, that was the wrong page? Oh, I tricked myself. Oh, but like, just really quickly. That's my mood this week anyway, right? I think. I mean, hail Dark Taylor. What do you want me to say?
With the help of the White House announcement. With the stroke of a pen, he committed to declassifying the files concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A decision not just monumental, but pivotal. It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified some.
You should have said JFK, RFK, and MLK. I mean, you missed your chance for a KKK joke, for the Democrats.
Objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files. This task force will be a beacon of bipartisanship. On the Republican side, Representatives Burchett, Boebert, Burleson, Crane, Gill, and Mace will be joining me, although I'd like to note that I'm expanding this to the entire governing body and will be allowing certain members to waive on. Our first hearing is set for March. The date will be announced soon, and we've already initiated close to a dozen communications with various agencies, to include Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice and the Secretary of State. This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve. We will cut through the bureaucracy, challenge the stonewalling, and ensure that the American people finally get the truth that they have been denied for too long. If we are to endure and thrive as a nation, we must restore trust through transparency. The American people must be trusted to think for themselves, to form their own judgments from the truth that they are entitled to know. We've been treated like children for too long and kept in the dark by those we elected to serve us. It is my solemn duty to begin mending this trust, to form a new relationship between the government and the governed. Let us embark on this journey together towards a government that does not serve, but one that enlightens. That does not just serve, but one that enlightens. Trust through transparency that begins.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
right.
it's cool. We'll see what happens there. We'll see. But this is I expect something soon. I do. I don't, but maybe I'm naive. I don't know.
Well, you got to figure out what are the most boring days, and then those are the days to, make executive orders released to make the news more interesting. Because this is the content president. This is the content administration. This administration is producing content. That's all it is. Every day it's more content, which is distract. I mean, the fact that we're talking about paper versus plastic straws,
right?
Pennies. Pennies. There must be more going on, and these are the stories that are they're circulating to distract from bigger, more interesting things. And when days seem kind of cold and boring, and the waves seem like they're the wind is soft, there's nothing, the ocean's placid. That's when you should expect the storm. I feel like 'cause that's a good time to drop some more content.